So Genesis chapter 9, God had blessed Noah and his sons. And God had also said that before we eat of any meat, that blood must be drained. God also said a life for a life, that all life belongs to God, and man will not kill man, for he is in the image of God. Genesis 9 also talked about how God established his covenant with Noah and Noah's sons and their seed after them, and every living thing that was with them on the boat. God had established a covenant with the animals and the bugs, that life will not end by water, the flood will not overtake the earth, and God sent the rainbow as a reminder of this covenant. So I know in nowadays we see the rainbow as LBGTQ, but the rainbow originally is a reminder of the covenant that God established with Noah and his sons and their seed after them, and every living thing, the animals and the bugs that was on the boat with them and their offspring. Okay. Then it goes into talking about the children of Ham. It made it well known in chapter 9, verse 18, that Ham is known as the father of Canaan. Japheth, Shem, and Ham, those are the three sons of Noah that populated the earth. So Noah had a drunken night, and Ham had saw Noah naked. And instead of Ham covering him up appropriately, he went and he told his brother. So Noah was displeasing of this, as his brothers backed their way into their father to cover him up without seeing him naked. They had honored Noah. Noah cursed Ham's children when he was sober for Ham's actions. So Ham's heart had mocked Noah in his drunkenness. And it caused Canaan, and Noah cursed Canaan to be Shem's servant and Japheth's servant. But God didn't curse Ham. That's what I noticed. And I'm wondering, did Noah have the divine power to curse Canaan? Or was it mere paternal human power? Ham still had God's blessings and covenant over him. I believe that divine overpowers paternal. And Noah lived 950 years, 350 of which he lived after the flood. So going back to this chapter 9, Noah was drunk and had gotten naked. So how was this Ham's fault? Noah's had a responsibility when he became a husbandman. Husbandman means man of the soil. So when Noah became a husbandman, he had planted a vineyard, and it sounds like it's the first vineyard mentioned in the Bible. And he became drunk. And when he became drunk, he was in his tent and took his clothes off. And I know somewhere later in the Bible, it talks about thou shalt not drink too much. So when we read about this, is Noah the first person to get drunk in the Bible, or the first person mentioned? I know that before Noah, the world was wicked. I don't know if I have to reread to see if it talked about alcohol and drugs being involved. But nonetheless, Noah planted a vineyard, and Noah had gotten drunk. And out of his drunkenness, he had gotten naked. Ham saw his father naked and went and mocked him and told his brothers. There are some Western philosophers who believe that a sexual act was performed on Noah from Ham. However, I don't agree with that. That's because a lot of psychosexual urges and practices are consistent with a lot of Western deities from Rome and their customs. So I don't think the same psychosexual stuff that happened with the Roman deities, I don't believe that's what happened here with Ham. It doesn't say that Ham knew his father. It just says that he saw his father naked. And so knowing someone and seeing someone are two totally different things. All right. So back to with the curse from Noah, how Noah cursed Ham. Well, let's remember, Noah is a man. Noah is a son of God, right? And did Noah have the power the divine power to establish a curse over Ham's descendants for all perpetual generations, because God had established a covenant with Noah that their seed will flourish and grow and multiply and be fruitful, and they will be blessed with the gift of life that will not end or be smited by floods overtaking the world by God. And God had said that for hearts, for man's sake, because the imagination of man's heart is evil from youth. And so God looked past the imagination of our hearts that become evil past youth, and had made the decision not to smite us anymore with waters from the floods, in honor of Noah, who had listened to God's command, who had remembered God, who had offered burnt offerings unto God. And yet Noah is the same man that had went and planted a vineyard as a husbandman and got drunk and was naked in his tent, and cursed Ham because of Ham's reaction, which may have been inappropriate to his father. It makes me wonder, is this a tradition of humans to blame someone else for our own misgivings? If Noah wasn't drunk, he would not have gotten naked, and Ham wouldn't have had no one to mock. Now, that's not saying that Ham is not responsible for his behavior. Ham saw his father naked and mocked him because he went and told his brothers about it, and his brothers came and they covered him up, and Ham and Noah knew about it when he was awakened. So Ham is responsible for his own mocking of his father, and that's why his father cursed him. But we have to remember, Noah did not have the power to override God's blessing on Ham. Okay. All right. So now, that's chapter 9, and let's continue with the reading of chapter 10.